Oh, indica. We can smoke indica. Call up my link name Indy. We can smoke indica. We can smoke indica. We can smoke indica. Call up my link name Indy.
Just went back to some word circumstantial Saint. Circumstantial. I speak to heal, reflect, hold back.
Making on a Sunday dressed in light. Cut the bullshit, cut the bullshit, cut the bullshit. I don't have the time.
Doubt, a demon in disguise. Did you have the time to think about why? When was the last time you cried? When was the last time you were sung a lullaby? When was the last time you just went for a drive? A ride through the night, or a country ride through the mountain with peaks of intermittent sunshine. Did you find your light? The things that make you shine? Or did someone cause you pain from jump and you can't seem to get a grip on what is called life? Did society give you a reason to pull a nine? Someone give you
time of day, just come around my way. You know where to find me.
Guide yourself en route to the next galaxy in 7 seas and burn, ice, cold, no greed, medicate, breathe, IV. Medicate, congratulate the freedom state and conquer the community and dilate the camaraderie, heighten the mentality, configure the karma smoke screen, the never-ending need, purify your seed, cause heaven is here and human soul is in need.
You are protected. How to? How's that make you feel? Now, you ever look at someone and see the scars and ask how they got it? You ever think about what it took for that scar to get to the point of where you are when you are seeing and receiving it? That scar on that person has a story, and you are near that story. Tap into that person. That person has a story. You ever look at someone and know they have stories? You ever look at someone and see nothing but pain or rage or anger and nothing is in their eyes, but they smile and sound pleasant? Did you have the time to think about why? When was the last time you cried? When was the last time you were sung a lullaby? When was the last time you just went for a drive? A ride through the night, or a country ride through the mountain with peaks of intermittent sunshine. Did you find your light? The things that make you shine? Or did someone cause you pain from jump and you can't seem to get a grip on what is called life? Did society give you a reason to pull a nine? Someone give you
The art of healing requires an emotional response that guides your energy to create new connections in the brain. Our growth demands change, and every small shift within changes the whole of our existence. Anything and everything now becomes significant.
Hey, greetings and good vibes, everybody. Shit, god damn it. Let me remove that. Greetings and good vibes, everybody. It's your guy, Circumstantial Saint, joined with Kick Ass Jojo. As y'all know, my album is out today. My 16th album, I Speak to Heal. It's available on all streaming platforms and services. Please go check it out. So today I wanted to talk a little more about it, but I didn't just want to talk by myself. I wanted to have somebody on to talk with me about it. So I've got my buddy Kick Ass Jojo. Thank you for taking the time out to do this with me. I can't thank you enough, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, like this is basically the time to vibe out to the music, to ask me whatever questions you have, or just we could just shoot the shit and talk about music in general.
Wow. Hey guys, what's up? Kick-Ass Jojo or Jojo, and this is my panda. Mr. Panda, how? Anyway. So what was it like just to finish that last album? I mean, was it like what was the adrenaline rush like?
Oh my god. So when I first started out with it, this came off the backs of my last album, I Speak, which speaks to the chakras. This particular one speaks to the throat chakra, and I quickly, like, I did the song I'm not a rapper, I'm a poet, like right on the heels of finishing I Speak and releasing it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this for a deluxe version. And I quickly realized it was not going to be a deluxe version. It needed to be a whole album of its own. So at that point, I got even deeper and more intense with each passing day of this album. So the excitement wasn't necessarily there at first. It was just like normal thing. This is just what I'm doing. It wasn't until I started collaborating with more and more and more people for this project that I started getting really excited, because the collaborations help to they make the album, they help explain the album, because it's other people speaking, like I'm speaking through other people as well. And that's part of like the whole thing. Like you don't want to have an overactive or underactive chakra. You want to make sure you have a nice balance. And so you want to make sure like you're not always talking, you let other people speak or speak for you or speak their perspectives and find something out of what they're saying that resonates with you. So for me, like, for example, the song People Pleasing, I definitely can relate to it. And so me and Complex Angel, shout out to Complex Angel, wanted to make sure that like we touched on the concept of people pleasing and how it affected us, but we had two different takes on it, but we were also discussing it. So it became like a conversational type of song. Like we're both doing our poetry and spitting over a house track. It's like a house trap track. However, like it's kind of like we're having a conversation. I really enjoy it. And then we made a remix to it too, which you can only find on the single version. It's an EP of its own, because we did an interlude for it as well. Or you could go to my Bandcamp site where the I Speak to Heal album has extra tracks, some bonus material, lyrics, background information concerning the album, and like the process. Reviews also will be uploaded tonight. So I want to give people like extra gifts. and it's a way to also help support independent artists. The album's $20 on Bandcamp, but you get so much more. It's definitely worth it. Again, my album is out on all streaming platforms and services today, though, so you don't necessarily have to go to Bandcamp. I would prefer you to, because it's helping to support me. But also, no matter what, like if you're going, no matter what streaming service you go to, you're supporting me. So to answer your question, like the excitement didn't really come until this month, like, because I think I started on this right when I Speak was done. Like I was still promoting I Speak with the single Wrinkles did really well, so like I was still promoting that, and I still do perform Wrinkles because it's become like a fan favorite. So I was like, all right, this needs to be a deluxe. But when you listen to I Speak and then you listen to I Speak to Heal, it's like I Speak to Heal's like a 1,000 times like turned up from I Speak. Like, don't get me wrong, I Speak is definitely very it has an electronic feel. It has a bit of a housey feel, but it's more genreless than anything. It has more of like a spacey, futuristic type of sound with a little bit of like neo soul and hip hop elements thrown in. But I Speak to Heal, I really love this album because I did a lot of blending. So it's genreless. Like even though it's that deep, heavy house sound, there's so many other things thrown in. So many other things thrown in. So yeah, I'm extremely excited about this. It's probably I haven't worked this intensely on any previous album.
So what was life like while you were making this album, though? Like,
life be lifing. You know, life be
Right,
lifing.
right.
What's life without strife? You know, we all have our trials and tribulations. It's how you perceive them and manage them that is what counts and defines your character. So this album is called I Speak to Heal for a reason, because going through your journey in life, you're going to have healing moments, and you need to analyze them, understand them for when you go through, when you're at the beginning of that healing process, when you're at the end, and when you're in a moment of clarity before you go through your next healing moment, because we have different eras of healing. You're not going to have just one healing moment. So for me, it was like, I have really awesome moments. I've just been doing a lot, but I'm blessed. I couldn't be more happy with the things that I'm doing. But again, like, what is life without strife? So I have my trials and tribulations too. But those good and bad experiences, or like however you perceive it, definitely helped to shape this album, because I dug deep into feelings and emotions that were still lingering that I needed to reckon with. And this was part of that I didn't see coming. I didn't anticipate any of this. It just was a natural process to do that. And then also people seeing like the people I was collaborating with go through their own turmoil and their own situations, and learning from the stuff that they went through, and like meeting them halfway, or like matching their energy to give the full picture. So for example, there's this one song called Energy Part 1 with Queen Far, and I listened to her verse, right? And I'm like, I fucking love this. But so I wrote my verse, right? And I listened, and I'm like, my verse doesn't fit. It's like it was a response to her at first, kind of like adding to her, but in a kind of like negative way, a somber way. And I was like, let me put this on a different track. So I made Energy Part 2, asked Jyree Turner and Matt Prophet of Past to jump on it, and it completely changed the attitude. So it's like a dark, ominous sounding track with like electronic elements thrown in, and it does have a happiness sound to it, but it lends to the negative part of the energy that I wanted to discuss, and how you can permeate through that. Whereas Energy Part 1, I ended up making it like a duet with her. So it's kind of like how we're saying, like, I still love you. I want to be with you, but we can't be together. I'll always be with you, like in the spiritual, in the metaphysical, but we can't be together because I have to protect my energy. So it's like a duet between both of us talking about that together. It's really beautiful, and you got to hear it. But it's backed by a neo soul track that I made. So it has a different vibe than like a lot of the other tracks that you might find on the album.
So it's basically like saying, I may be in love with you, but I can't be with you because maybe this is just toxic energy
Right, or
type of
maybe
thing.
it's
Yeah.
not toxic energy in a sense that, like, we're toxic for each other, not that we're
Yeah.
toxic people, but we're toxic for each other. Like the combination here is poison instead of like sweetness.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I definitely understand that. I was like, oh boy.
it's a really deep track with minimal words, and that's why it's so like beautiful to me, because part of the I speak to heal thing is that, like, those moments where you need to not speak and let like silence do its magic, or like ambient energy or sounds do their magic to help explain paint a deeper picture too.
Is your track I Am Protected, like listening to that, is it like taking a staircase up to the track you're talking about now?
Mm. Wow. Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. No, just go ahead.
I see it as the other way around, actually. Like, because that is such an affirmation track. I think it's like coming to a point of realization, and then acting upon that and reaffirming that throughout that song. So I kind of see it as like the first and second album. I Am Protected, I actually did a remix for it on House Free 2. So you might be referring to the house remix of it, which I fucking love. But the original version is just as powerful.
Right.
I see that very first album, it was like heavy on affirmations. I kind of see that now in a sense of like how Star Wars was when it came out with like the middle, and then they went to the beginning and then the end. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And like talking about the whole world. So that's kind of how I see this right now, is like Cleanse and Circumstantial Saint, my first two albums, or the first projects that I did last
Mm.
year,
Mm.
are kind of like the after of like I Speak to Heal. It's kind of
Yeah,
like I
'cause
went back to the beginning of the basics and started all over for people to like guide them through the whole process of like shadow work and doing your due diligence to love yourself properly.
I gotta admit, when I heard I Am Protected, I was like, this just made my brisk red orange iced tea taste so much better. This is
Yes.
great.
Yes.
I was like, I needed to hear this actually,
Yes.
because I'm like in Lebanon, I'm like in Lebanon County, and it's like they need a touch of house. They need a real touch of house, and I'm like, oh my God, what rocks are you guys living in? Oh wait, this video is about to be seen by Lebanon. It's okay. Take the realness. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Mhm.
do you? All right. So, who is your target? Who is your actually your target audience?
So I like to bring together different types of audiences of people that have a lot in common but don't realize that they do. So like people that are really into the spiritual, people that are really into uplifting humanity in general, people that are activists, people that are looking to help change the world in any kind of way for the better. I want to unite all of those people, people that are queer, people that are straight, people that listen to house music, that listen to trap, that listen to pop, anything that brings them together. The spoken word community is a community that is from people of all ages, size, creeds, and colors. And so I speak to many different types of people that I'm kind of morphing into one umbrella, like because having duality and understanding shadow work and the good and the bad and how you need to work through that, that's something that everyone can relate to. So I think in essence, the target audience is people that are looking to or already are doing shadow work, people that are looking to heal, people that are in healing processes and are looking to some sorts of inspiration or to some sense of camaraderie, knowing that they're not alone, or looking for something to explain what they're going through that they couldn't find the words to on their own.
Wow, that sounds like something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely relate on that mission. Yeah,
Right.
we need that. We
Yeah.
definitely need that. There's a lot of people hurting and a lot of people who don't know where to go. And, they're trying to find guidance. And sometimes that guidance doesn't lead them to the right people. And so it leads to
Certainly.
bigger consequences. And so, yeah, yeah, wow. Yeah, that's really amazing.
Yeah, I feel like
Anyway.
having go ahead.
And for those who don't know what duality means, okay, Google, what is duality?
Talk about it.
Can we hear that?
No, I can't hear it.
Okay, Google, you can stop now. I can't hear you. Thank you. I was like, what? Anyway,
So what did Google say?
I had no clue what the heck she was saying. She was really, really low. Like it was whispering in my ear, but like from far away. She was like, like, okay. So, wow. Okay. So, is there something about your life that you want the audience to know about that you think is going to make them go, wow, I need that, or I need to hear that, or
that is I think subliminally, that's probably my goal each and every time that I make something, is that I want people to deeply resonate with it. I want to touch hearts. I want to make people cry. I want to make them angry. I want to trigger them, because there's growth in that. You can like, is it good or bad? Is it negative or positive? Or is it simply just an experience that you needed to have? Was it just a lesson that you needed to learn?
Yeah.
If you're dwelling on the good or bad of it, it's not, you're not getting the full picture and understanding what you needed to be doing. And so I think a lot of people need that kind of stuff. A lot of people really need to hear that for that growth. And so that's why I'm here. That's like, I feel like it's part of my duty, and I just do it without really thinking about it. And so like, I'm glad that you asked that, because I didn't really think about it until now.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. So, let me think here. There was something going on. I heard some of your tracks, and I was like, I want to play at an upcoming event that I'm coming up with, but I'm not going to promote it yet until it's like in concrete. But I do want to feature your music, actually, because I think a lot of people feel to it. Plus, there's different types of dance styles that can actually really go with that. I literally pictured you on stage, and let's just say you had a dancer being like your mirror image.
That's kind of what I wanted last month for the performance that I did at the Drag Night event. But I didn't have time to do any choreography or like get dancers. But that is something I really want to do, especially at a queer themed event.
Well, let's just say it wasn't totally choreographed. To me personally, I like it when something is a little more freestyle. Agreed. Because it looks more raw, it looks more real, and it depends on the choreography. It really depends what it is. Right. So let's just say maybe the choreography are just transitions, and everything else is just before you go on stage, you're going to test yourself in the rehearsal room and see how you two interact. And mirror each other, while like she or he will be mirroring your words, everything that comes out of you. And I think like talk about duality.
Yes. That is probably the biggest part of my music, and what it stands for is that's what my name stands for, Circumstantial Saint. Sainthood is circumstantial. Everyone has parts of them that are dark and they need to transmute it. But just because you're living in light, if you're living in light all the time, you're fake. You're not grasping the full experience of life. And you probably have a lot of pent up energy inside that is manifesting by you being like the false positive is what I call it. Like it's not going to get you anywhere. And we all have some kind of strife or trial that we go through that test us and prove our abilities. And so I feel like, why shy away from that? Why not lean into it? And I see a lot of people that don't necessarily lean into it. And I think if one is practicing, if one is claiming to be like a spiritual person or really looking into it, you want to look at the totality of things. So that's why I talk a lot about shadow work. And in my earlier albums, I talked about it a lot more. Whereas now I don't talk about it. I present it to you. I show you it through the experiences that I'm putting in my music. So like the lyrics have gotten, because I prefer complex lyrics and really deep, multi-meaning words that are kind of coded and that have riddles in it and riddled with riddles. But when I went to start doing music on my own without the producer that I had started with, I was like, all right, maybe I need to dumb this down a little bit and like simplify things first so that people can get into it and understand where I'm going with things, and then I can like add the layers. So it's kind of essentially what I did. So now I'm at that point where like I Speak to Heal really is that heavy deepness because I've been able to add those layers on top of it with all the previous albums. Again, for people that don't know, this is my 16th album. But then there's like EPs that were eras in their own in between those 16 albums. So it's more like 30 albums. And so like if people go back and look, even if you look at the artwork, like there's a progression of sorts of like from sitting in the darkness to not knowing what you are exactly. So you put up hey Carol. So you put up a facade, a type of barrier, and that's where like you see a lot of the singles with like the superhero type of looks and me with fire and lightning and flames, because I really wanted to speak to that. So then you come around in springtime and I went into my I Am era, starting at the root, hence why it's on a tree with a root budding from it. Because I wanted to, and at springtime, I love you too. Especially at springtime, because springtime is talking about like rebirth and things coming anew, right? So like I want to paint that full circle, and I might do it numerous times throughout the iteration of the time that I'm Circumstantial Saint. But there's a point to that, because you might end one cycle, but it doesn't mean that life is over or that it's just going to be all good from there. You're going to go back through some hard times of some sort. That's part of life. So I want to continue to show off those cycles.
All right. So in the last album, what would you say would be the track that that really got you so vulnerable that it might have scared you?
There was two, actually, and they are my most dearest songs now, and the two most popular songs that I've probably received the most excitement and words and stuff for, and the most like feedback from. Why the fuck did I get what was actually on this album, I Speak to Heal, but my last album, I Speak, contained the singles My Dick Ain't for Free and Wrinkles, and both those songs did like it. Yeah, people like, I see people now and they come up to me like, my dick ain't for free, or people like or when I perform Wrinkles, people come up to me like, that song made me cry. So those two really, really were vulnerable for me and resonated deeply with me. And they were from my own thoughts and personal experiences that I really wanted to make sure that people picked up, understood, and what I was putting down completely. And I feel like everyone really did pick up what I was putting down. So those two songs are like two of my favorite songs. I'm going to see if I can find the video for My Dick Ain't for Free and Wrinkles. And I'll show you so you can see. Okay, so here's My Dick Ain't for Free right now.
Yep.
My dick ain't for free. Passion is the price. And what kind of value do you see? Where do you have a need? I seen plenty types. And you? Thinking you prime royalty. You ain't nothing but a colonizer to me. I'm just surviving. And you need some small talk and a cute face to sleep. My dick ain't for free. Motherfucker cash at me. It's 2023. Some passion comes with pain. Lows and groans, Grinder and Jen. Who is your friend when they trying to pick you out too? Who made these rules? Oh yeah, the ones that created the system in the first place. But all these oppressed motherfuckers think it's still this is some kind of race. Trying to disgrace the next face ahead, but only with a little taste. You can't be serious with the side eyes and double takes. Sex work is work, and you objectify someone on TV, someone down the street, and get mad when someone can't call your daughter. And at the same time, when I hop on Grindr and want your back blown. And I said, my dick ain't for free. History of sex workers can give you what you see. Cause I don't gotta explain shit, my time is limited and I have bills to pay and others to see. Just a fucking memory of why I can't stand the system. You're nothing but a liar with needs. These white men only value me without a degree. They just want back shots, no covers. Late night creeping around their lovers, going out cash for BBC. By the way, that term bothers me, makes me cringe. But to these bored white men, I'm just a moment with sin and a tinge of melanin. And if I speak, it ruins the fantasy. Too intelligent for my own good. My kid came. How many times you gonna ask me? If you want what you seek, pay up. Or find someone else to fulfill your fantasy. My dick ain't for free. It's priceless out there. I learned I was stifled and priceless. Slow nights of sleepless, lifeless, once. Once for home. Once for the love I hadn't known. Once of a normality I could dream, until I start to manifest what I found in the crevices of the concrete I walked over mindlessly. Once of trust, no lust. Once of love. Once of a fulfilled life of helping others discover themselves. So folks don't perpetuate the same shit they inherited themselves. It's not as hard as one thinks to fall into a nightlife of entertainment, but the media wants to blame it on black bodies. Always. My BBC don't want no company. I spend time elevating my mentality, showering myself with love in totality, transmuting and purifying my inner to outer to grasp what the haters and doubters understood about me that I didn't. My dick ain't for free. I got energy to keep. Your eyes are bigger than your mouth can handle. And I got it. Go the fuck to sleep. Go fuck your wife. Leave me be. My album is called I Speak because I speak my motherfucking truth on this song. 14 albums of raw emotion comes out the 31st week. Go get it. It's on all streaming platforms and services. You can also find me on all streaming platforms and services with all my music and on social media. Just Google Circumstantial Saint.
I got energy to keep. Your eyes are bigger than your mouth can handle. And I gotta go the fuck to sleep. Go fuck your wife. Leave me be. All right, so that is my track. My dick ain't for free. And so if you really listen to the lyrics, clearly it's talking about sex work, but it's talking about, speaking your truth and your frustrations about how you feel about being a sex worker, about how it can devastate you if you're not clear as to where you are in things with it. If you're not confident in yourself and knowing who you are, if you're in that kind of work, it can be very damaging, traumatic, and devastating to your psyche, your being, and who you are in general. And for some people, there's no coming back from that. And so it's something that's very personal to me because I was a sex worker for many years, but also because I see so many people that did not come back from it. I want to save lives. I want to help people to not go down that route if they do not need to. If you are trying to survive and you need to do what you need to do, I'm not knocking you, but I want to give you more encouragement to know who you are, where you stand, and know that you need to value you must value yourself above all, no matter what, and to not take the projection that clients would project onto you because they want something from you. You don't have to give anything if you don't want to. Protect your own energy. But then it also talks about the progression. Like, I'm already like, it's talking. This is not me. I know who I am, but I'm talking about the person who wrote this poem, because it was looking at where I was then. So a lot of the past two albums, I Speak and I Speak to Heal, aren't necessarily speaking from present tense. They can be speaking from past tense. And that's part of where my Dick Ain't for Free was. It was speaking from past tense when I got to a point of knowing my confidence, who I am, who I was, owning the things that I've been through, and also not taking no shit just because I went through these things. But then also letting motherfuckers know, hey, that's not me anymore. I know who I am now, and you're not going to do that to me. No one's going to do that to me anymore. Do you know what I mean? So there's a progression of it. And like Carol said, it's funny, but truth. Like people took it as a joke, but then the more that I kept driving the issue home, it became more apparent what I was saying. And people definitely picked up what I was putting down. It's just that like, I noticed also watching this, that I do that a lot with my poetry and songs, that like I'll start off surprising you and saying a lot of things that make you drop your jaw, but by the end of it, you're really contemplating and you're getting a different perspective of something that you may not have even thought of or considered before, because it's not your life. So you don't associate with it, you don't understand it. But that's what separates us all. If we get to hear each other's experiences and learn what each other went through, even though we may not been in those person's jeans, pants, shorts, or skirts, we still also can resonate with some part of people's stories. And so my Dick Ain't for Free was a big explanation of that. Why the Fuck Did I Get With You is another big explanation of that. And that's like one of my latest singles, and one that seems to be doing well, and people really it's really resonating with people, because it's talking about past relationships with mentally and emotionally abusive people. And it's yeah, and it's also pondering, why did you go through that experience with that person or those people, and also how they can manifest in different like the same type of energy can manifest in different people that you thought, like, you know, you chose someone that looks completely different than the last person. However, they are the exact same person. They do the same exact things, had the same tactics, the same red flags were there, but you ignored them because you thought you were at a different point in your life. You ignored them because this person looks completely different. You ignored them because this person is nicer than the last person. They're not going to do this to you. Or they're not going to do the same thing, but they're going to do the same thing in a different way. You just didn't see it at first. But sometimes we need to go through those different iterations and those different lessons numerous times to understand that we need to give ourselves more love, more grace, and take a step back and say, okay, what was me that contributed to this, and what wasn't me that contributed to this? And I need to hold accountability for it all and move on. That person is that person. They have their line. I can't fault them for what they did. I can just make sense of how I perceive it.
Right. You know, when I heard that, you know, it's of course to some people they're not gonna. Some people, you know, they just see it as comedy, but it's very powerful. Actually, it's pretty powerful.
Right.
When I first came back to New York City when I was like 18 years old, you know, I just came out at the time, and it was mostly around the Black and Latino gay community.
Right.
I met so many gay prostitutes, actually.
Yes.
And so, and you know, I was never a prostitute. If I was, I would tell you. But the thing is, I used to like want to hang with some of them, because I was like, man, I feel like in order to understand this life, I need to understand a bit of the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, for some of them, it could be very powerless. It can make them feel very powerless.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be very careful, of course, because there are people who don't make it out alive in that type of life. You know, and a lot of these people, you know, of course they're feeling a little powerless, because some of them came from families that excommunicate them for just coming out.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, I remember back in New York City when the pier used to be not have a curfew. Okay, I was back there when it looked like Paris was burning. And so you know, I think more people were open with me because I just looked like I was one of them, because I look Hispanic to a lot of people. And so a lot of people did think I was a prostitute as well. But no, it's just that I had friends and I wanted to walk with them and see where they took me to. I learned about a lot of places where I'm like, whoa, oh, wow, you know. But it was also very sad, because they felt like maybe this is all there was for them. This is the only way they're going to survive, not just for money, but to get some sort of like release or feel of,
I think that, and that's what I wanted to touch on. That's what I wanted to touch on, because that's a big part of it, is that like a lot of these people,
get into this work not just because it's a matter of survival and money. They may not feel comfortable at regular, quote unquote, regular types of jobs, and they get pushed into it. Also, it's a sense of connection in some way where they may not get that any kind of like you said, release in any other sense. So it becomes like a no-brainer. And then again, when you see other people do it and they're successful with it, it's like, oh, well, I could do that too. Okay, well, maybe, but you need to, they're their own person and you're your own person. You need to be careful. We all need to be careful.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it too. But like many queer people fall into this for a multitude of reasons. But it is something that is very common for Black and brown queer people, gay men and trans women in particular, especially trans women, make up like the biggest portion because they're discriminated the most in regular job settings. I hate to say regular, but other job settings, they're more discriminated against versus any other group. So it's why you see them doing sex work much more of a proportion than anybody else, and they get villainized and ostracized for it and penalized to the point where it's become a stereotype to where you see it on TV. Like you see all these Black and brown sex workers playing these parts, and it's like, people are so much more than that and what society will paint people to be. So that was also why I came up with Wrinkles, because at the end of the day, we have the same eyes, we have the same feet, we have the same blood, we all bleed red, and we need to really be holding the mirrors up at each other and seeing the reflection of ourselves. We're all the same in some semblance. And so that's what Wrinkles did for me. Like literally writing it, I cried writing it. So I think that energy transferred into when I recorded it, into when I was anytime I perform it, when I shot the video, all of that. And I think I honestly, that's probably one of my favorite songs because of that. Like I always wanted to do a song where I got people to see each other through themselves first.
Where you got to tell them pretty much, just because we struggle, it doesn't mean we are bad or wrong,
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna play it for you now so we can see it, because that's exactly what it is. Hold on one second. Here's Wrinkles.
And while he does that, we're gonna say hi to Carol. Hey Carol, what's up?
Thank you for tuning in, Carol. I so appreciate you. Carol also is on the album as well. She's on, well, I'm not going to tell y'all what track Carol is on. I want y'all to go listen for yourselves and tell me what track Carol is on. I really can't thank her enough for that little gem that she contributed. It's one of the pieces that means the most to me on the album. Because when I heard it, I'm like, I first of all cried because she wrote the poem about me, but she's describing me in the poem. So that's a little tidbit to give you a hint as to what song she's on, because she's not included in the title credit. She's included on the title credits on the Bandcamp album. However, the mainstream album, she is not, so that you can find that gem. So I appreciate that. Here is the video for Wrinkles, which part of it was shot at an event that we did in York at Dinar's Delights. Shout out to her business, amazing sweet treats. Shout out to Pan and Annabelle for doing this event, and I Speak Rhyme. And it was a really great event. I had I believe it was like 7-track set that I did my first time doing it. So here is Wrinkles.
Y'all ever look at someone like really look at someone? You ever see them? I'm not talking about their personality either. I'm talking about the soul. Because I'm not talking about seeing with the eye. I'm talking about seeing with the know. Now, y'all ever look at someone? Really look at someone. I mean, the outer things tell a story too, though. The wrinkles give definition and depth to personality. And frowns show face. Show no grace and cuts from when you fell on a cement stoop at 2. Scars from being jumped in high school. Style to your own and scent replicated by fewer than 2. Laughter. A smile that can hide a million cries. Or show how free one is in their mind. You ever hear someone speak to you through their smile alone? Not the smile that's happy. The smile that you know is hurting them to do, but it's all they can do. And you know it's this way, so you smile too. How's that make you feel? Now, you ever look at someone and see the scars and ask how they got it? You ever think about what it took for that scar to get to the point of where you are when you are seeing and receiving it? That scar on that person has a story, and you are near that story. Tap in. Tap into that person. That person has a story. You ever look at someone and know they have stories? You ever look at someone and see nothing but pain or rage or anger and nothing is in their eyes, but they smile and sound pleasant? You ever see someone who looks trapped through their eyes, but their body and demeanor see spread open wide, and they don't even themselves know they are kept behind lies and whys, moving through life on autopilot, cause society wraps them up in plastic and makes them feel they can't cry, can't fight, just lie and say you're alright. I asked how you doing, don't lie to me. The lies come a dime a dozen, cause no one wants to hear a complaint. You ever look at someone, really look at someone, feel their pain, look up and see the rain coming down as their fears and self-deprecating voids of misused tools overlooked cause everyone wants to be brand new, yet no one wants to do the work to clean up their room. Looking inside and having inner dialogue, everyone just wants it all without understanding what all is. You ever look at you? Really look at you. You ever see you? Like really see you? Do you see the unhappy? Do you see the tired? Do you even bother? I can feel you're rude. I can feel you're rude. And my presence does so mine to be in and around that my dude. Shit is depressing and wait, I'm depressed. Shit's a mess. We don't do enough digging within and comparing for the right reasons. Hell, they fall true for doing the same shit that he did to you, but because it's him and his life, it makes it okay for him? Yes, perspective is everything. Do right and look within. We got a whole realm of folks walking around with no sight, just working themselves to death, dumbfounded and blinded, and worshiping a Goldilocks zone in maybe 3 or 4 years with supple, non-saggy skin and 1.2 kids and 2.5 bathrooms, no in-house extended kin. Compartmentalized mentality, that's the wrong duality. I'm talking about the actually, the full experience. One is the other, one affects the other. I am you, you are me, I see you. Do you see me? My wrinkles can't tell you lies. My eyes may hide, but my eye is speaking open wide. You won't hear me cause you choose to be blind, and I've been trying to figure out how to break it down for you to open up your mind. Let me in, feel me, kin. This world is more than the words we breathe through our skin. The sun, water, plants, our melanin. Do you really see me? All that is coded within. Cause I bear all and some say that's too much. If they consume too much and I'm too much, I'm not enough, just yet. 116, I'm detailing a picture of the grooves in this canvas with extra blues to represent the battered and abused that rode that F train to blues, that took that turn to that 6-foot ditch too soon, that didn't see the balancing down and up. Gravity weighed on the soul too much. What the fuck is luck? Give me dirt and grit, give me motherfucking experience. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Ken, you look at me. Do you have the ability? I should have asked that at the beginning. What do you see? Is that 12-year-old boy still crying for attention? Is that 8-year-old still wishing she wasn't ignored? Deep in that crystal clear shade of blue lies fumbles lost on social cues, ridiculing anyone who crossed you. And that smile and scent don't fool the ones who cleanse and protect theirs. Stop seeing others. See yourself. And you will cherish the wrinkles, dimples, laughs, fears, tears, passions, and lost years of others. See to seek to discover.
So that was Wrinkles. Yeah, so obviously, as you can see, I'm talking about the inner. I'm talking about the inner that's in all of us. I want everyone to see themselves. I want everyone to see each other, because how can we love one another? How can we do for one another if we're not actually seeing one another? If we're not actually hearing one another, if we're not actually understanding one another, understanding one another, feeling one another, and it starts with compassion. Yo, Carol, thank you, because I want to touch on that. Stories, really help gain perspective to someone, and I think that that's really important, to listen to people when they have stories and make sure that you're passing those stories on. And I I I can't help but really tell you that I appreciate that, because sometimes I don't feel seen. And so, like, validation means a lot to me, and um everyone should feel seen in some way. And I think that's what I always seek to do with a lot of my music, is make people feel seen. And I think I do that by picking out the dirty parts of all of us to showcase for everybody. The world is full of dirt. The world is made of soil. So why shy away from it? Thank you.
Carol did say, you speak to never
Yes.
being too much,
Yes.
and I think that, yeah, that is very important, Um,
I think that's something we can both agree with. Is like that, and that part really was what that was a part that I really wanted people to hear. Because I touch on that too. Like, if someone's trying to make you dim your light because you're too much for them, it speaks more to them than it does about you. And if anything, you should shine your light brighter when they tell you to dim it, you
yep,
know?
yep,
And
that's my
so I
mentality as
wanted
well.
that to resonate with people. And I'm sure that you can definitely, like, I'm sure you have experiences that you can relate to on that note.
A lot, yeah, yeah. It's a yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Let me see. Let's go down the list. No, wait. Yeah, because I'm in a town where I feel a lot of people seem like they want to do good, but it seems like they just want the notoriety.
Right.
They want the name.
Right.
And I'm sure they probably blame me of the same thing, but the big difference is, I really care about the human suffering, and I care about
Yes.
world peace, and I care about changing the world where they don't have to live the way I did, you know, or suffer the way I did. But
Right.
then again, between every moment of happiness, there's going to be struggles.
Yes.
Struggles is not avoidable. You have to learn how to. We have to learn how to. What's the word? Cultivate it.
Yes.
You know, and so
Take care of your soil.
yeah, 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 yeah. And this town, it's very challenging, as y'all know, because I have my mental health issues. I'm like a mental health warrior, and being here really triggers it a lot. So,
Mhm.
but it's me with the choice of being like, what kind of determination do I want to make? So,
What kind of impact do I want to make by just
yeah,
being
yeah,
myself?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, let me think, let me think, let me think. Panda, what do you think? I don't know. Stop it. No, I know. But I just had to do that. So, man, I had it in my head for like a moment, and I'm just like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? So, I do feel people should um try to see that we all have our own inner rock star to unleash. You know,
Yes.
and when we see that, and we're confident about that, you're not going to go around trying to destroy the light of other people. In fact, you might want to collaborate and manifest that light a bit
That
more.
part. That
You
part.
know, yeah, and that's what I've been trying to do for a while. Because when
Oh,
actually
looks like you,
that'd be kind of hot. Actually,
you kind
sorry,
of
no,
froze
I
there.
shouldn't
What
make.
did you say?
Carol said something. Let me see. Let me
Yeah, you kind of
quick
froze for a
comment.
second. What'd you say?
I froze. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh, okay, okay. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, we all have something within us that I feel that is meant to shine, and it shouldn't be held back ever. It really shouldn't be held back. People should try to encourage each other to unlock their highest potential.
Mhm.
You know, just like in Buddhism, is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. That's a chant, and the chant
Yes.
is about unleashing your highest potential and being the lotus flower in the murky, muddy waters that represents everything that tries to take you down. So people, I feel like if there's love within yourself, you want to see other people shine, and you want to see other people basically succeed in their lives. And I like that your work is basically about touching in people's humanity, and also about seeing value within yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, and so let me think. Let me go. Well, I love me. I don't know about you, but I so love me. Okay, you need to go for a little bit. So anyway,
I'm
so
done. No, but I feel like it's important to like if someone is feeling that you're too extra or your light is too bright, it's because they feel some type of way about theirs not shining as much as yours is, or they haven't figured out how to turn their light on.
yeah.
Maybe it's that, you know?
Or they're too busy
Yeah.
trying to get validation from other people, and they can't even look at themselves. Like, I don't think a complete validation. I don't really believe in complete looking for validation in other people. I mean, but at the same time, I do seek a certain amount of love and affection
Yes.
and friendships, and
Yes.
I don't have that many really. I'm a very fun loving guy, actually. Fun loving, happy go lucky, woohoo. People probably think I have all the friends in the world, and I really don't. I have a lot of acquaintances, and I have
Right. Right.
people who
Same.
just like me when I'm happy.
Yep.
But sometimes those people don't like me when I'm happy either at the same time. And it shows. But, what really matters is trying to find our own inner light and manifesting it and hoping that other people can see it within themselves. And maybe like this whole bitter attitude towards people can diminish a bit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know?
I think like tribe finds like tribe, but if you're not like working through yourself, you won't find that like tribe. So trying to appease the people around you just because you want people around you is not going to help you get to have the type of people you're supposed to have around you around you.
And Carol said that too many people want to fit in at the expense of not allowing themselves to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, we
Couldn't
know
said it
people
any
like
better.
that. Yeah, all right, girl. Yes, yes. Let me share something about Carol because I love the heck out of her too.
Mm-hmm.
We all know she's invited to all. She has a lifetime pass in every life to all the cookouts, all the pride
Mm-hmm.
marches, all the ballroom scenes. You know what I mean? Like, she got a whole universal pass from this life until the next infinities. I
Mm-hmm.
swear. Like, everyone loves Carol.
For real.
And if you don't, I think you're on something. So anyway,
For real though. I couldn't agree with that more. Mima is the fucking best. Seriously.
yes, yes, yes.
And yesterday actually she was on so every other Wednesday, myself and one of my collective mates in one umbrella, Divine Marie, we will be hosting an open mic event. Um, we will be hosting an open mic event every other Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And herself and myself will be doing a poem, and then we'll be sharing like the inspiration behind that poem or what it's about, breaking it down, and then we will invite 2 to 3 other guests on to do the same thing, and then we'll all share and talk about those experiences, and kind of just a healing moment, uplifting moment. Now sometimes we will do like theme events to where there's a
Mm.
certain topic that we want to touch on, but for the most part it'll be like centered around healing and like healing journeys and finding some sense of healing out of whatever poem you bring to the forefront. So Carol was on that yesterday, speaking a poem about like white privilege and racism. Very powerful. And so like we're just trying to find any way that we seem that deems that speaks to us as far as like how we want to help progress the world and elevate all of us to a new consciousness like we feel should happen or could happen if more people were doing their inner child work. So I'm not going to shake you and say wake the fuck up, you need to. No, but I mean sometimes I might, but for the most part I'm going to show you experiences of trauma and traumatic things and inner child work, shadow work that needs to be done, and how to bring that on, how to conduct a nice conversation with your inner child and get to some point of where you're learning something. Ask yourself questions. Ask why do you feel the way you do about this. Ask why this person gets under your skin. Ask yourself those questions because they matter.
That's actually the point of what I've been trying to do here in Lebanon, and Carol knows that. I'm the hope of the Urban Masterpiece, the House of Urban Masterpiece, is to really to tap into souls of so many people to let out their authentic selves, and usually it's done in ways that, as I said, talking and holding a protest sign don't always do.
Yes. And that's what brought about Circumstantial Saint in a sense. I've always been a poet. I've always been a writer. I've always written. However, I was always nervous to like share with people past a certain point. And getting into activism and doing marches and speeches, I got started speaking everywhere. It led to like, I want to find another way to connect with people. If I come off too radical or too like upset or I'm too much in people's face, maybe like the meditative state and the affirmations and the lower the softer tones, I should say, will resonate with people in a different way, and they'll hear what I'm saying through that. And so there are two parts to a whole. Again, circumstantial saint, duality, wholeness.
Do you have what is your as an activist, but also as an artist, right? Because when it comes to, I mean, you and I pretty much stand for the same things. Do you ever have like certain haters just come after you? Like they come after your art, they come after you just because they can't stand your view on freedom and the rise of your community.
With the activism, I get people come at me all the time. I'm the racist. I'm this. I'm that. I'm too much. However, with the poetry and music side, no. And I mean, yes, like there's subliminal shots and like people will ignore, but for the most part, I get pretty positive feedback and love from people when it pertains to my music. And I feel like it's like a back way door into getting into someone's mind and helping to progress them or to get them to see themselves in others, as opposed to hearing a news story about something that happened clear across the world that they just find a disconnect with. Maybe if I put the mirror up, they'll see it that way. And a lot of times they do.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes, like back in the 90s, I just revealed my age. Anyway, it's like when like going to school in this particular town, I went to different schools, but people who would claim that they are not racist, but they say racist things, and then, or they do racist things, or they support very racist movements.
Right.
But they just enjoy hearing, it don't matter if you're black or white. Right. Michael Jackson's Black or White, or they don't mind hearing other songs like similar. And it's like, you do realize it's giving the message that you like hate, right?
Like, so I'm sure you heard about the Jason Aldean song, Try That in a Small Town.
It's funny. I did not. And I was trying not to, from what I heard, right? He's first off, he's trying to act like pretty much an asshole in a small, like he's trying to say, try that in a small town. I'll show you what can happen, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so many people of color have gotten murdered in small towns. Actually.
So exactly. So we did, myself and the Urban Conservative, who's a big collaborator, another spoken word person I collaborate with. We did a response to that song called Try That in the Hood. So for people, yes. So I would really love for people to check that response track out. It is available on all streaming platforms now. So definitely go check out that song. And we basically kind of say like, you're missing the point. We're all being oppressed by the system. You're no better than anybody. and you trying to act like that in the hood, it's not going to go over smoothly. You're
I
saying
think,
that because you're sitting in your small town, and at the end of the day, you shouldn't be coming at us. You should be coming at the system for making us divided to begin with. So it's like we're not going to combat your racist bullshit ass with more racist bullshit ass shitness. We're going to show you what you're doing and how you're affecting the world with the harmful things you're saying.
and he's probably doing it from a very rich house, not really in a neighborhood or anything like that.
Exactly.
And who knows? He's probably just part of him just doing it to get more clout, to get more like people to buy his music. I know it hit number 2. I get that.
No, that's completely what he's doing.
Yeah. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad. Like, do you not really believe in the positivity of your music that you have to like sort to that?
Right. Well, a lot of people specifically do not do positive music. They do music to make you depressed. Like, I do music about depression so that you can work through your depression, not so you can be depressed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, it's very important. It's so important.
There's a lot of low frequency music out there today, and I do my best to cut through that to give people something to look forward to.
What we need to do is take your music and get a lot of dancers to create dance challenges out of it.
Exactly.
And
yes.
I think that's going to really work out because I can imagine many people doing it. I can actually, with some of your stuff, I can actually imagine that happening. It's just a matter of getting certain people. It could happen. It could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Dead air.
Question for me?
Let me think. I do have questions for you. Well, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Carol, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
I'm not a favorites person.
Really? Oh, darn.
I don't do favorites. I have like a top 10. So, butter pecan, strawberries and cream, cookies and cream, mint cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, pistachio, peaches and cream, vanilla bean. So those are all my tops. And no one's more than the other. They're all equal in that.
Well, I'll tell you what's the best. Ha 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 ha. No, actually, mine is it was from Haagen-Dazs. It's the white chocolate truffle raspberry swirl.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is so good. I love white chocolate ice cream. I'm like, oh, listen, I love white chocolate so much.
I love
it
white
brought the New York accent out of me.
I've never had white chocolate ice cream.
It's so good, man. It's so good. It's right near my job too. Like, there's this ice cream place. They have like white chocolate with white chocolate chips. I love it so much. It brings out my New York accent. Listen to me. No. But I think I do. I like that you're on a mission to change the world musically, especially. Using your music and using your art, and I think it's very important because life is very short.
That part. So like I had this thing where like Tupac did, I think it was like 1,200 songs in his 7-year music career before he passed. I want to get to like 2,000 within like 5 years. And so I have like 450 some songs now. I think might be a little more. I try to keep track. And it's been a year. So I think I'm making good time. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So tell me about your town. What's that like?
Where I live currently, I don't like to disclose. However, I'm in the Philly region, and very different than what I'm accustomed to, but not completely bad. I mostly just pour myself into work and go other places to meet up with friends and things like that, because there's not much like right in my immediate vicinity, but enough for me to have everything that I need to live life. So
is the spoken word community huge around there? Is there any other
In the
people
Philly
within
in the
spoken?
Philly area, spoken word is huge. It's probably the place for
Oh,
spoken
not
word.
Philly. Of course, Philly. Sorry.
Yeah,
Of course,
Philly
no,
is the
in where
spoken.
you're at exactly.
Well, I live in basically a village, so no,
Oh, I
but
thought you lived in some other town. Okay, okay,
I'm right
sorry.
outside of Philly, so it like all of Philly area is the spoken word capital of the nation, probably the world. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Philly is the place to be for spoken word right now.
Mm, I'm gonna have to make that trip.
Yes, yes.
My first long drive. Like, hey, you'll
Oh,
know
it's
it's me.
not a far drive. It's like an hour and a half. Not even.
I'll see. We'll see. I've never driven that far before, actually. Actually, I'm a first year driver too. It's
Spoken like a true New Yorker. I'm done.
yeah, I'm a first.
Hard.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, check out my Metro card. Ching, ching, ching.
I'm done.
Oh,
Yeah,
for real.
get out there and see the world. I love exploring. I love driving just to get lost and see where I'm at. Um, I love exploring new areas. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I feel
Did you
like it's
get to travel
important.
different countries?
I have never been out of the country.
What's if you could? What would the first country be?
Brazil.
Ah, I know. I love Brazilian funk. And you ever see that
Yes,
one
me
guy?
too. So Brazilian funk has a big influence on my music as well.
Mm,
Like if like there's sometimes I'll like you'll hear a funk beat on a house beat sometimes to give it like extra definition. So if you're not into how funk or you don't know about Brazilian funk, you won't really pick it up. But for those that do, y'all already know. Shout out to the funk community. Like funk music in Brazil is really big. It's like the equivalent of black house music for Brazilians. Like it's the equivalent of like R&B and hip hop and house fused into one. That is it's just such a unique sound.
it
But
is.
it's
Yeah.
also so twerkable, and that's part of why I love it too. It's so
Oh, okay.
twerkable. Yes. And then it's also very well, Brazil in general is gay friendly, but like I feel like funk is extremely gay friendly. Like you have so many transgender artists that work with straight men and black at that, that it makes me feel so proud. Whereas like you don't really get that kind of dynamic here in the States. You just don't. You get rappers that are seriously homophobic, like rappers that won't even collaborate with Lil Nas X. So for
But
me,
he's making more money than they are, so he doesn't really need them.
right. But I feel like his music would be even more authentic and just so much awesome if like other people collaborated with him more. Like I love him, but his music isn't necessarily my thing. Maybe because he's a rapper or whatever. But I love him and I love what he does for music and for visibility for our people. Uh, like yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I don't always listen to much of him, but I like how he tries to stand out there. He always trying to make his statement.
Right.
Like that's why I think it's very important. Like one rapper, two rappers I like actually. There's a lot, but I do like Mos Def.
Oh, I love most stuff.
Mos Def, yeah, yeah, and because
Or
he's
Yasin Bey, as he's called these days.
right,
Yeah.
and there's Chance the Rapper. Like I wasn't drawn fully to his music. I was drawn to his work as an activist and how he's very gay friendly, and he's very
Ah.
supportive of his gay brother.
Most Def?
Yeah, no. Sorry, I went to another rapper. Sorry, I was talking about Chance the Rapper.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah, he's very supportive of his brother who's into music, and he says he's openly bi, but I think that's ready to be like, ooh, let's censor out that part. No joking, it's live streaming. Because when people
Is
say
it
are
more
bi,
like a romantic type of thing with men, but not like any kind of actual relationshipy kind of thing? Because I know he has a wife and kids, but I'm just saying.
no, chances I think is straight. Who knows? Who knows these days? But the other guy, his brother, he
Okay.
came out as being bi, but usually these days when
Okay.
someone says, "Hey, I'm bi," it means like, "Hey, by the way, I'm gay,"
Right. Yep.
like
Yep.
that. And so, and then of course there's Cardi B. Like
Yeah,
she's an activist in her own right as well.
that's true. That is
I don't really
she's
listen to
always
much to her
spoken
music
up
either,
about
but
that.
she's funny as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know,
used to listen to her like when she first came out, like her first mixtapes before she became famous and got signed to a major label. I loved her. And that's like me as a musician in general. Like I, as a fan of music, I will really only listen to people that are independent or have their own label or do their own thing. I don't like major label releases because they get watered down so much and it's not an actual good representation of that artist. So like me,
Yeah.
for example, I have my own label and I will not, I'm staying independent. I don't care what deals are thrown at me. No one's dictating my music. No one's getting royalties or masters from my music. It's all mine and I'm keeping it. And I suggest other musicians stay that route as well. And more money is for you. You're not
You,
splitting things with other people.
you know, the
Unless
Chance the
you
Rapper is doing the
collaborate.
same thing too, right? He has his own label. Like I think he's labelless actually.
Yeah, so many artists are doing that because it's like the music industry is crumbling, like music labels at least, because things have changed so much with the onslaught of the internet, and streaming services have really changed things as well. As far as like how things chart, what's deemed a hit, all of that. It's just very difficult these days because you still have artists that came from one era and are now in this era. Like Beyonce talks about how she grew up in the age, before the internet she was out, and it wasn't about like you didn't have to do all these things so that people can resonate with you, and people want to know your love life and people want to know where you're going every day and what you're doing and what kind of status you have, whereas before it was just about the music. People just wanted to hear the music. They didn't want to know anything about personal life. And when they did, it was great. They loved it. It gave them insight to the person, but it wasn't all this stuff every day, all day. We have to know what you're up to. So like she feels that's why she's super private about her life, because she wants to give you what she wants to give you. And I totally agree with that. I do give people facets of me, but you actually do not. I'm very complex and you don't get all of me. I keep pieces private to myself, but I give you enough, not necessarily for direct distraction, but yes, kind of the distraction, because I don't want you sitting there like, oh, I need to know this about Circumstantial Saint. No, you don't. You need to be focused on the music and the message and doing your own shadow work. Don't look at me, look at you. If I'm really here to change the world and help make a difference in the world, I have to practice what I preach. I don't want you worried about me. I want you worried about the stuff I'm saying and the point that I'm trying to prove.
Right.
I think that's the most important.
Yeah. You do that. You really do that in your work. I was like playing in the car. I was like, all right, all right. The first time, honestly, it's probably the first time I drove to work and actually didn't put the thong song like in my player. Like for real, yeah. I love playing that song, especially when there's no one else around in Lebanon, because I'm trying to be nice, okay? And then next thing you know, there's kids everywhere. Like, where do you little creatures magically pop up from? Oh God, I got to take out the thong song. Not like they probably haven't heard it before. Well, maybe this generation hasn't, but anyway, I don't know.
And then they got remakes of it now too. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it's been like 20 years. Like that's my heyday too. And it's just like, so that's also a big inspiration behind my music, is like the 90s, 90s music, 90s beats. Like I do fuck with like the trap and the drill beats. It's heavy in my music. However, like I'm still down with my old school shit. 90s, 2000s music. That's where it's at for me. So it has a heavy influence on my music. And so like you had talked about my audience before, like as far as age goes, I don't try to cater to any specific age, but I go for like overall classic sound and nostalgia. So like I do transcend different I do transcend different generations, and I purposely do that. So thank you for
Carol just corrected y'all. That is not old school.
For me, it's old school.
Oh man. I had a coworker and she asked me like two questions. No, she said two things and it broke my heart. Who's Whitney Houston? Was one question. Yeah. Who's Whitney Houston?
What
and
grew up on?
And who's Tina Turner?
Oh goodness. Rest in peace to both of them.
I know. Like what? Oh, the world has ended. Like, oh my goodness. You don't know who what is? Oh jeez. At least you know who Mariah Carey is. I'm happy there.
Well, that says something. I'm pondering now.
Well, right now, Mariah has a dance challenge out right now. I don't know who created it. It's to touch my body. I can do the dance, but
Oh
like,
wow.
it's that one that goes like, it's that move that goes like, ta 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 ta, and then that hand here and hand there. Actually, shoot, we should just do one. I'm joking, but like, I should probably, as a Mariah fan, I should probably just do exactly that, you know. But yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's weird with the younger generations, but going back about like getting music out there, right? I think it's very important with especially dancers because a lot of dancers are doing dance challenges, and a lot of them
Right.
are also doing the same routines with the same songs.
Exactly.
For example, this guy Noel, I think you know who I talk about, right? He always busts out his fro every time. That song "Calm Down." He was in Brazil, and he was like all over, just connecting with people. Like what he'll do, he'll pretend he's stealing someone's stuff, and then pray that he doesn't get killed. And then he does the routine, and then he takes off his hood, and they see this fro, and they all recognize who he is. Like, oh, hey! Then he went from Brazil to Egypt, right? And now I think he's going to Turkey. Like he's traveling, and he's taking like these songs that like I never heard, and it's now in my playlist. Like they're really making people like.
Let's help me get some dance challenges started.
Yeah, because it's always the same routine. Like, and there's three others. They're black, all three of them, and they're really amazing too. And they know they collaborate with Noel. And I'll have to show you, but they've been introducing me to a lot more Afro beats.
Yes,
That's like
too. So I've done a few Afro beats and a few tracks. Like I said, I've experimented with everything. Literally any kind of genre you can think of. For the most part, I have experimented with. But Afro beats I really love, and I've got to work on another track soon. I just have to find the right topic, the right vibe, and I'd love to collaborate with someone on a track like that too. I really enjoy doing collaborations now. Actually, it's become a chat. Like I love the challenge of, because like I like to tell someone, you write what you want to write, and then I'll write what I'm going to write based off of what you write. Because a lot of times I think people go like, oh, well, they have to like live up to me or what I do or cater to me. And I'm like, nah, I want to accentuate your vibe. That's what you're coming on my track for. So
right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to highlight and showcase you, and then me play and work off of you, or us have the same energy, create the same vibe together and make a masterpiece. I think that's more valuable, intimate, important.
Yeah.
It's somebody just jumping on your track. Like I don't want anybody just jumping on my track.
You mean like Aretha Franklin, like always trying to battle somebody on stage?
Right. I mean,
I love her for that too.
The battle shows the complexity of the circumstances, duality. I'm all for it. Yeah. Because I think that like for example, beefs in hip hop hold value and weight because it gets people interested in both artists. It gets people to engage. It brings a lot of attention to both artists. So it's always had a good place. It's when things actually get out of jest and things get taken personally, things like that, it's not great. But most of the time it isn't just it isn't just. So that's one of the things I do like about like competition and battling just for growth, as long as it's all in good fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not like wow.
We've been on here for like over an hour. So I guess we can get off of here, but I just first of all want to tell you thank you. Just for chatting with me and really helping me to explain a little bit about my music, showcase some stuff, and talk about this album release, because I'm really excited and happy that it's out and the world gets to hear it. Please, by all means, go check out my album I Speak to Heal on Bandcamp as well, and buy and support. Go check my YouTube, subscribe, and then go check out my numerous music visuals. I try to do a video for every song. That doesn't always happen, but this album I Speak to Heal, I'm going to take the time this year to do a video for every single song, so that people can visually see it. Yes, Carol, I would actually love that. Because I have a bunch of songs that still require choreography. Like it's a danceable album, like very danceable. Like there's techno songs on there, like deep, heavy techno songs. There's deep house songs. It like you're going to love it when you hear it, Jojo. Excuse me.
Actually, I already love a lot of your stuff already. To be honest, everything I heard, I pretty much because I'm from the same world. It's just in the way of New York City, you know.
Right.
I'm around house music and spoken word. I've worked, I've done off-Broadway shows. Oh, Carol, yes, I was there. A hip hop, a hip, we did a hip hop. You don't stop. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. We want you to be at one of our events if you ever get to it, because we're starting it. And so my audience is really outcasts. I'm looking to I know he can dance. I know he can dance. So he can dance. Boom. Anyway, because my audience, there's certain audiences I don't need to go after. I realize I don't need to go after everyone because they probably don't need me anyway. Who knows? Right. But I feel the people I like to reach out to are people who feel like they're outsiders and feel like they've been told, always felt like they were worthless. Yep. And that's really why I joined, certain organizations and got into certain movements, because, it's about, I fight for different people. And I think, what's going on towards a lot of our communities is a big act of bullying, making it legalized, like legalized bullying,
right?
And it needs to stop. Because I don't want any more people committing suicide.
Well, that's what part
or
of why
dying. Sorry, let me change that. Not committing suicide, more like killing themselves through suicide. So no one wants to really commit to it. So yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get off of here. I can't thank you enough. Like, I really appreciate it, helping me to open up about this album. Please go support the album. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm on Twitch. I'm on everything. And also check out my site. Links at the bottom of the screen scrolling across. Circumstantialsaint.bandcamp.com. If you're looking to book me, saint.theleonblock@gmail.com. And you can also just email me if you want to shoot me a message and talk to me. If you want to send me reviews about my album, I love talking to people and really do appreciate it. Carol, thank you. I love you too. Really appreciate you for tuning in, and everybody else who has tuned in today. Thank you for the love. Please share this stream so other people can hear more backstory about my music, and then share it out. Appreciate you, Jojo.
Of course, we are going to do this again.
Yes, I would really love that.
You see, that's why all of us are in here, because it's our love for art, but it's more about like changing the world through, different mediums that, that people, I think in this town that I'm at, I'm like, you never heard of house music? Oh my goodness.
No, but that's what I'm here for. And that's what you're here for. So now you found house music that's local and you could put them onto it in a way that maybe they can understand.
Yes, we will be featuring you in the first event.
I appreciate you, man. All right, let's go. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Appreciate you. Everyone be well.
Yes.
Guide yourself and troop to the next galaxy in 7 seas and burn, ice, cold, no green. Medicate, breathe, IV. Medicate.